As you have probably figured out by now, performance improvement teams rely on data to perform their job. In this module, we will discuss the different types of data as well as some of the tools used to analyze the data. By the end of this module, you should be able to do everything listed on this slide. There are several tools that you can use to collect data. In this module, we will talk about one of those tools that you may choose, the check sheet. The data collected and used by performance improvement teams can come from a lot of different sources. Where you get your data will depend upon what you want to know. Your team must identify the best sources of accurate data. Sources of data can be from surveys such as patient satisfaction survey, patient charts, incident reports, or employee evaluations. Once you have collected the data, you would want to benchmark it. This can be done internally or externally. Internal comparisons allows you to see how you are doing compared to how you performed previously. External benchmarking shows how you are doing compared to other organizations that offer similar services. Your team may choose to use a check sheet to collect the data. A check sheet is used to gather data based on a sample of the observations in order to detect a pattern. Your team must decide who will collect the data, what data will be collected, where will the data be collected, and determine when the data will be collected and how often it will be reported. A check sheet may look something like the one on this slide. As you can see, it is a very simple tool. Every time an occurrence was observed, it was marked in the appropriate category. A check sheet would be used to collect your data. You would use a different tool to actually display or share your data with others. It would not look very professional if this was your team's final product, and your data isn't very meaningful at this point. The data needs to be analyzed once it is collected. In this example, we are tracking the number of times a staff member was interrupted by the telephone. The days of the week are listed across the top of our check sheet, and the reasons for the phone calls are listed along the side. Each observation or phone call that interrupted this staff member's work was recorded on this form. This was done every day for 1 week. At the end of the week, all of the phone calls or observations were totaled. By using this check sheet, we may be able to establish patterns once the data is analyzed. Over the next few slides, we will discuss the different types of data. This is important information as it will help you decide what type of tools to use when collecting and displaying your data. This may sound familiar to you from other courses that you have taken. The first type of data that we will discuss is nominal data, sometimes referred to as categorical data. This type of data includes values assigned to name-specific categories. You may remember this because nominal and name sound familiar. When your data is put into groups or categories, it is nominal data. For example, male or female. Insurance status can be subdivided into groups of yes, no, or I don't know, or you may ask the patients to respond with a 1 if they have commercial insurance, a 2 if they have Medicare, a 3 if they have Medicaid, or 4 if they don't have insurance. The numbers are not ranking the types of insurance from best to worst. The numbers simply represent the name of the category that you place the data. Nominal data is typically displayed in a bar graph or a pie chart. We will talk later about the different types of charts and graphs. Ordinal data is collected when you want to rank your data. Many surveys will use Likert scales. A Likert scale allows the respondent to state the degree to which they agree or disagree with a statement. The scale may range from strongly agree to strongly disagree, or instead, the scale may range from 1 to 5. Performance improvement teams often use this when they want to know how the respondents feel about an issue. Like nominal data, ordinal data is best displayed on a bar graph or in a pie chart. Discrete or count data are numerical values that represent whole numbers, not fractions. Like the name implies, you can actually count the observations, such as the number of children in your family, the number of delinquent records, or the number of beds in your hospital. This type of data is best displayed on bar graphs. Continuous data assumes an infinite number of possible values. This example shows the range of the height of our students in centimeters. There is one student who is less than 130 centimeters tall, and 8 students are between 135 and 139 centimeters tall. Our data is continuous because our student's height could have been anywhere in this range. In reality, a student may be 136 and a quarter centimeters or 158 and 7/8 centimeters tall. The possibilities are endless. This type of data is best displayed with a histogram as displayed on this slide. Let's review some other data analysis terms that you need to know. Absolute frequency is the number of times that a score or value occurs in our data. In this example, there are 750 patients in our data set. What is the absolute frequency of a 18.5 to a 24.9 BMI, or body mass index, occurring in our data set? The absolute frequency is 500. This is the number of times that it occurred. We have 500 patients who have a BMI somewhere within this range. The relative frequency in a data set is the percentage of the time that the characteristics or score appears in the data set. Since 500 of our 750 patients fall within the 18.5 to 24.9 BMI range, our relative frequency for this category is 66.7%, because 2/3 of our patients have a BMI within this range. Healthcare organizations collect a huge amount of data. When using the data for performance improvement purposes, it is very important to make sure you are collecting the data that will accurately reflect what you are studying. It is also important that the source of your data is reliable. Once you have collected the data, it must be interpreted and reported correctly. Now that we have talked about the different types of data and some of the ways in which data can be collected, you will want to know how to analyze your data. We will continue our discussion in the second presentation within this module, where we will talk more about the use of descriptive statistics in performance improvement.